Today we're going to show you how to correctly measure your dog for a neoprene vest. It's really important to get the correct fit for your vest. We want it snug on the dog's chest so that it retains the body heat while your dog's in the water. There are two measurements you need when you're sizing your dog for a vest: the chest measurement and then the neck measurement. The neck measurement is lower on the dog's neck than you would measure for a dog collar, where on the dog collar we're going to go toward the middle or higher up on the neck. The vest doesn't go up that high, so it's a little bit above the shoulders. The chest measurement is from the deepest part of the chest. You want to make sure that you have your dog standing when you measure and that you find the deepest spot of his chest so that you get the correct measurement. The chest measurement is the most important part because it has to fit in the chest. If the neck measurement's off a little bit, you can trim it down to size. To measure your dog, you're going to need either a seamstress tape, or you can use any sort of piece of string, something you can wrap around the dog and then measure it with a tape measure, or you can even use a leash to get the correct measurement and then measure that off with a tape measure. I like to measure on a table. This way I'm standing up and I'm comfortable and I've got the dog where I can position them correctly. I'm going to make sure that we've got the deepest part of her chest. It's typically going to be closer to behind the legs. You know, if you go down too far here, you're going to get a shorter measurement. And we want this measurement to be snug. She's coming in somewhere in the 26 to 27 inch range. And then sit her down. And then the neck measurement is going to be above the shoulders. So 26 on her chest, 27 possibly, and then 17 on her neck. Let's take a look at the chart. Okay, so a 17-inch neck and a 26-inch chest is going to be a medium. She's going to kind of fall in between. It's possible that she's going to need a large, which is an 18 and a 28. We're going to start with a medium and see how that fits. All right, so that is a medium on her. Sit. No. She's still trying to figure it out. She's never worn a vest before. We would probably end up cutting a little bit off the top here if we go with a medium. What's nice about these vests is that they have bar tacks on them. And so if you need to cut, instead of having it where a seam's going to just rip right open on you, you can cut down before the bar tack and that'll keep the seams from shredding. So I like the way this looks on her. It's a little snug, but that's what we're going for. The chest is really good. As long as she stays in this weight, she'll be in good shape. It's a little loose right there, but that's just normal. We may end up trimming the neck down a little bit, but maybe not. I want to put her in the water first and find out, because when she's swimming, it's going to be tied up against her. We'll watch right in here and make sure that there's not a problem with her legs. Doesn't look to me like there's going to be, but if we needed to, we can trim right in here. We're going to try the next size up on her and just give you an idea of what the difference is and how they look. But that feels pretty good on her. It's tight, and if she gains any weight, it might be an issue, but she's at about where I want her weight-wise, so I don't think that's going to be a problem. You want to try the bigger one on there? Okay, let's try a large on her real quick and just see how that does. All right, so this is a large, and the large fits her in the chest. It's a little bit looser, but not so much that I would call it an issue. Same thing with the neck. We're going to want to trim it down. And it's a little bit wider here. I'm a little torn because it would depend on a couple of factors with this particular dog as to whether or not I would go with a medium or a large. She's almost 4, so she's done growing. And from a weight standpoint, she's in pretty good shape. So we could get away, I think, with either on her. Well, we're looking at, when you look at this vest, you're looking at, you know, how it's going to fit the dog when they're moving around. It's a little loose right in here, but that's not going to be an issue. I'm more concerned about it right in here and how she moves, right in here where her legs are going to be. And same thing there. You've got the option of doing a little trimming right in there if you need to. In the front, this is not going to be a problem for her. You don't want it too low because it'll gather water as they're moving, you know, when they're swimming. And so you want this up a little bit high, but you don't want it in the way. I don't really have a problem with this right here. Might cut it back just a little bit. And then with her, she's a smaller dog. You can see it's pushing back on her legs a little bit. I'll probably trim a little bit off of the bottom of that, just watching out for the zipper. We'll keep this as long as it is, but we'll come in, you know, and cut, you know, a little bit out of here so that when she stands up, you know, from a standing position, it's not a problem, but when she sits down, it's pushing up against her. So we'll come in and we'll trim a little bit out of here. And you've got your first bar tacks right here. So there's plenty of room. There's about an inch between that next bar tack. And you don't have to go all the way to the bar tack. You may get a little fran if you don't, but you can cut it back right up in there and just customize it to fit your dog better. Sit. Oh, I know. Flint. This is the first time Flint has worn any kind of vest. You can tell she's a little uncomfortable with it. She doesn't really grasp exactly what this is. And so you want to get them fit for it long before you're going to need it. And you want to give them a chance to move around in it, just get used to it. It's just part of the gear that they're going to be using while we're duck hunting. And so just like any other training situation, we want to get them used to it with plenty of time so that it's not something they figure out on day one. Remember, when you're measuring your dog, the most important thing is the chest measurement. It's got to fit the chest tight. That's the number that we're looking for. Everything else you can cut around, but if you're too small in the chest, you're not going to be able to put it on your dog. If you're in a hurry, if it's late season and it's close to the time that you're going to need it and your measurements are not giving you an exact, this is the exact size that I need, then you may want to order two and try them both out and then return the one that doesn't fit. If you order a vest that doesn't fit correctly, we will be glad to take it back or do an exchange for you.